I'm Arielle Feger, Senior Analyst, Media Content at eMarketer. I'm excited to be in our New York studio today with Taylor Stewart, Head of Global Retail Media Engagement at TripleLift. Hi, Taylor.
Hey, Arielle. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, so happy to have you here. Taylor's joining me to talk through key insights from TripleLift's latest report, From Guesswork to Greatness, How Marketers Are Redefining Effective Creative at Scale in Digital Advertising. The report, created in partnership with eMarketer, dives into how marketers are tackling creative effectiveness, how they're measuring impact, and the tools they're using to scale what works. To kick things off, TripleLift describes itself as the creative SSP. What does that mean, and what makes you different in the programmatic space?
In my daily life, I love to paint, I love to draw, I try to do it every single day. And, my love of art is actually what got me into advertising in the first place. It's also at the core of what TripleLift does. And we very much believe that it's our role in the space to bring art and creative back into the fore of programmatic advertising. More accessible, more scalable, and just deliver a better branded experience across the board for all of our customers.
Advertising is both, art and science. And so, I think that there's been a big emphasis on the science part, but I think the art is also something that really needs to kind of be bold and at the forefront, as you said. So I think that's really exciting.
Absolutely.
According to the report, marketers lack alignment on what great creative actually means. Why do you think this is, and how can brands close the gap?
As we found in our research, about 80% of marketers believe that great creative is important to driving results. A little over 50% actually know what creates a great creative and how to actually get there. We're trying to bring in words that make sense in the programmatic space that have relevance. So things like impact, scalability, addressability, personalization, which is obviously a huge one that comes up. And then, as we think about e-commerce and retail as well, that degree of shoppability and how that makes a creative great.
Speaking of scaling, what's the biggest challenge when it comes to scaling creative across formats and audiences today?
It's really time and resourcing. A lot of marketers, they have a set of assets which they've been using for display. They used it, they're tried and true. They do really well for them. What happens is you get a bottleneck of creative resourcing. We can take a small set of creative assets and make it accessible for them to reach native, display, streaming TV, online video, and really expand out their reach and their touch points against customers. Another approach is looking at a full funnel approach. We see significant improvements in terms of time spent with their end customer on site. So 6x improvements when they're running both display and native or display and online video. We have several brands that when they run a full funnel campaign with us, they're seeing improvements on their return on ad spend of greater than 50%.
How can marketers connect creative to measurable performance outcomes?
In our research that we've done together, we see that around 71% of brands understand that creative is, a high valued performance driver. Around I think 50% or so know how to actually measure it. The biggest piece that I always say is leave time for planning and leave time for innovation, but make sure that within that, you're setting clear goals. What does your KPI look like for a full funnel campaign? What is going to be that key metric that's going to convince you that this connected TV campaign performed down funnel to lead to a conversion or lead to someone submitting a form? And really hammering home what those metrics look like for you and working closely with your partners to determine what those benchmarks should look like.
AI currently is being used to generate copy and imagery, but trust remains a concern, kind of according to our report. How can marketers scale with AI without losing authenticity or creative control?
We can leverage AI to do things create different creative iterations. Feed it inputs of okay, I want to take X, Y, and Z asset, but I want to reach this demographic or this specific audience that we are really invested in or that we want to break into. And that's an area where AI can really kind of lean into and take away some of that time spent. Tools that are leveraging AI based on your goals and allowing you that space to quickly and effectively activate campaigns at scale where we're letting the machine kind of do its thing, figure out what audiences are resonating. And, if you're building all those creatives as well that you're testing out in market, you're going to end up finding maybe a little niche that your competitors aren't engaged with. And that's going to be something you can then take advantage of and extrapolate, build on, make more assets around that.
Switching gears a little bit here, What separates leading brands from the rest when it comes to creative performance?
How do you test different formats? How do you set up an actual roadmap for testing? That's one of the key findings that we saw in our study too, is that more and more marketers want to have that time to actually create a creative roadmap and to actually work with partners to develop what that roadmap looks like. They are continuing to iterate, not afraid to take risks. Maybe they carve out budgets for creative testing. You might find a little pocket that you never knew existed, and that's a key market opportunity that's going to set you apart from your competitors.
Taylor, that was fantastic. It was so great speaking with you today. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your perspective.
Thank you so much for having me. I was glad to be here.
Yeah, it was awesome to have you. Today's interview was made possible by TripleLift. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.